Welcome to Novel Hour Live. Today it's all about book club. Okay, we are super excited. And you know what? Like typical, we have one book club member who did not read that book. You're going to have to guess who. But before we get into book club, we have some news to jump into, some book adaptation news. But also stay tuned because we are going to be sharing some hot takes on some shows we have been watching. For me, spoiler, it's Wuthering Heights. But let's get to the news, okay? First and foremost, we are jumping straight to Prime Video. And what's happening over there? There is an off-campus TV show based on L. Kennedy's books. So if you're not familiar with the books, let me get them up on screen there. Those are L. Kennedy's off-campus book series. Well, Prime has plans to do this on their platform. So now they're going to start off with the first set of books. This news was out on deadline, so be sure to check that out. We'll have links in the video's decision. But if you're not familiar, it's a college set series that focuses on this hockey team at a university and the romantic relationship. So they are going to do a multi-series thing. They're comparing it to kind of like how you see the Bridgerton series, where they have different characters that they focus on from the different books and so on. So we are told from Prime, you can expect that as well, which I think, you know what, that is quite interesting. Season 1 is going to premiere sometimes around May. They don't have an exact date yet, but it has already, even without going live, it has been renewed for season 2. So I think that is quite interesting. Have you read the books, Francesca? And how did you feel about the news of it all?
Yeah. I mean, I was reading these books from the moment they were being released. I was excited to see the series be made into a TV show. I think that Prime is probably going to be a good place for it. And I feel like some of the excitement for season 2 and why it was renewed is probably because of the heated rivalry success. So I do think that that's probably kind of like the relation, even though it's a very different show and book. So I don't know if it'll necessarily translate to the same like massive success. But what I have seen from the fact, it's already filmed, what I have seen is it looks really good. I do think that from the little bit they've been sharing, it does look like they are staying true to the story of the books. Obviously, season 1 is book 1. So if they go in the same vein, then season 3 will be book 3, which is one that I really love. So I'm excited to know that they are, working on it. But I think overall, also, it's interesting that I think some of the marketing that they've done for it, it's not quite as good as the heated rivalry, but it does seem like they're taking some pointers, if you will. And I think that also some of the actors in this series, they were doing some events with the actors in heated rivalry. So I think there's been a lot of crossover from that. So I fully hope that it does really well. It's another Canadian author, Canadian series. So I obviously the Amazon doing it. So it's filmed here, but I do think that they'll do a good job with it. So I'm excited.
Okay, all right. Well, let us know in the comments, how do you feel about this series being adapted and the fact that they're considering to do kind of a similar style to the Bridgerton? I think you bringing up the heated rivalry of it all has given it, the network, the platform, extra confidence. So they're jumping ahead by just already saying, listen, we have 2 coming as well. So that is interesting. Also in adaptation news, we have some news with Navissa Allen. Now, odds are you might have heard that, okay, yeah, they're going to do an adaptation. Well, this home is going to be at Netflix. Again, Deadline is reporting this. I'll have links in the video's description after the live. But essentially, they have plans to adapt the book. They listed out all the exciting people who are going to be showrunners. And just in case you're not familiar, it's a dark fantasy. It kind of there's this hacker, you read it, you're probably familiar with it. But anyway, they're planning to do installments as well. Obviously, this is book 1 in the first installment. They're planning that as well. And the book has sequels, so they're very excited. So anyway, they are saying this is actively in the works for Netflix. Again, here's the book. I know, Francesca, you read it. I think you heard that this was going to be a adaptation before.
Yeah, there's been a lot of rumor about this being an adaptation, and I'm actually excited that it's a TV, like a series versus a movie, only because, yes, we do have other books in the series, and I feel like it can lend itself well to being, a bigger world that gets developed into a series. Even with the whole first book, I think that it's good. I think it'll be good to have a little bit more time than a movie. But I think that kind of tells me, yes, they are looking at the whole series and going deeper. Like book 3 is coming out actually next month, so stay tuned for that. It's called Game On. But yeah, I'm excited. I think Netflix is, again, a good home. These things are going in the right place for how they need to be produced. So I think Netflix is good for that. So I'm excited for it.
Awesome. Well, let us know your thoughts in the comments about the adaptation, the fact that it's going to Netflix, because I know sometimes we hear about adaptations, but you're like, where is this going? What are they doing? Yes. So let us know your thoughts in the comments. If you're watching live in the chat, but replay crew, we'd love to hear from you as well. So now that we've kind of wrapped up the news, we're going to get into what today's live is really about. It is our Thriller Book Club. Listen, for this month, we said we are going to read Shanora Williams's book. And where did Francesca go? Okay, I don't know what happened there. But yeah, we said we're going to read Shanora's book. And I said at the top of the show that one person did not read the book, like book clubs. Guess what? That person is me. I was telling on myself. Listen, I started the book and it was not working for me. And I know we've talked about this separately, saying, I think maybe we should select books that we've read and loved to kind of encourage you all to read it. And then also so that we can discuss it instead of kind of, just saying, okay, we're going to read this. And this is a book club pick, because I love Shanora Williams, but this did not work for me. Fran, on the flip side, made it through. What were your thoughts?
I mean, same thought. I just pushed myself to read it because it was for book club. So I'm like, okay, I got to finish it. And I will say, I always really enjoy Shanora Williams books. And especially I feel like her mysteries, like they're not like the super tense thrillers, which I actually enjoy. Like, it's a vibe, like you're in the mood, you're not going to go in there to be like super stressed out, which I appreciate, but they're always interesting, and with this one, like you said, I mean, I started it and I was really bored, and only because it's book club. So I'm like, well, I gotta push through this. But it is definitely I did finish it. It is my least favorite book that I've read by Shanora Williams. So I'm a little disappointed, I will say. So as far as the storyline, so this one deals with we have our main protagonist, and she is, Lord Jesus, sorry, because this thing doesn't know how to do not disturb.
Oh no.
I have problems with my phone. Okay.
Yeah, but in the meantime, let's just shout out Black Widow. Hey, hi. Happy to have you join us in the live. We are talking about a book we read that didn't work, but Francesca's phone won't let her be great.
Yes.
So anyway.
So this woman, she's married, and she catches her husband cheating with her best friend, childhood best friend, and they separate all the things. And now fast forward some time, her friend goes missing, or she thinks she's missing. She's kind of like, it's kind of the flaky friend. Obviously, they hadn't been in touch because of what happened, obviously. But she starts to get concerned about the fact that, her friend's not answering the phone and whatever. So she goes to this kind of remote location, this cabin, to find out what happened to her friend. And it's her basically investigating in this small town, asking around who's seen her and figuring out, is she alive, or is she just like flaking out and disappeared and went on a trip? Which, I mean, obviously things get dark, but it was just like the whole thing was really on end. Like, I was not invested. And also, even by the end, I feel like there was a lot of side plots that we went through in this story, which didn't really tie or add anything else to the story, like even to bring them full circle at the end and give us like a better inclusion within the plot of the story. So I feel like some of those scenes and some of those things they felt more like filler. Some of those like side tangents with this guy that she was dating, or even some of the things that we find out about her friend who's missing through reading her diary. And none of those things really played a factor. So I'm like, so why are we learning about these things if we're not going to then do some kind of a big reveal as to why these things are important that we're reading through reading this diary? And they were not really even connected with really what happened to her, because what happened to her at the end felt so blah, like
Right.
it's just like this. Anyway,
Yeah.
I was disappointed. I have to say, I was disappointed. It didn't feel like one of those clever mysteries where you're like, "Ooh, this is good." So,
Yeah. No,
and I mean,
get you.
I had the bad person figured out pretty early, even though there wasn't probably a lot of clues as to that, but it would have been like the only interesting thing. I'm like, well, I mean, that's the only one that would be interesting in this whole thing, because it's like we're trying to make all these other people really suspicious.
Ooh.
I don't know. I was just disappointed. I am really sad because I do enjoy her mysteries and thrillers. I thought that this was a sure thing.
Well, here's the thing. Since I was the person who showed up having not finished the book, I am coming though, because the thing is, I do like Shanora Williams as well. So I do want to share a book, not that one, that I've read. And I was like, okay, this worked for me personally. I'm a big Rebecca fan, so I'm always nervous when people attempt to do a Rebecca kind of story. This is what this one is. It's not perfect, but it is okay. Like, it's entertaining, it is readable, it is doable. Basically, there's this woman, whirlwind romance. They get married. She moves in. She realized, oh, the previous wife died under, suspicious circumstances. She's discovering it through the journals. And it's just glossy, fun, domestic thrillery vibes. Mounting paranoia was great. Shifting perspectives was good. And of course, she's questioning everything she thought she knew about her marriage. This worked for me in terms of like Shanora Williams' thriller. However, last year, I realized she actually does romance. So this came out in 2024. This is the first romance I read by her. Tens. It was so good. And because we were talking about sports romance with Off Campus, and because I knew we were going to share that news at the top of the show, which we did. If you're just joining us, hit the replay or watch it later or rewind. Anyway, this one, oof. This one has depth, and I'm one of them girlies. I love romance that has depth. This one has the depth. We have it's NBA though, not hockey. But anyways, there's this widow. She's grieving and she's going through the motions, and then she meets this NBA star, and it's like they're friends, and we see it evolve from friends. Things get complicated and stuff like that. It is so emotional. The chemistry is there. I felt it. But of course, we have the grief component, the healing component, and of course, them getting super into each other and just the attraction. Oh my gosh, it was good. I enjoyed it. I tens. So I like Shanora Williams. It's just unfortunately that the book club book did not work for me. It did not work. It did not work.
And I will add to that she also writes romantasy books. And she has a trilogy that, I think it's a trilogy or it's 4 books that's fully done. But she does have a new one that's coming out in March that I am super excited to read. And I'll be diving into that one very soon. I think it comes out March 17th. And from what I know, I think it's going to be a standalone. Or at least that's what it's, that's
marketing,
which I appreciate, because I feel like especially with romantasy, we get caught in series all the time. And I love to see sometimes something that's just a one and done and you can move on. So I'm really excited about that. And it's about this woman who is looking for her sister. I see a theme. But she's basically going to try to save her sister, and she has to go through these like really dangerous magical lands and whatever. And there is this kind of morally gray assassin that has to help her, and she has to trust him even though she shouldn't, but she's got no choice because she's got to get over there. So I think it sounds really fun and interesting, and I'm definitely looking forward to it. But she does have I think it's a trilogy, if I'm not mistaken, Kindle Unlimited, and it's fully done, completed, that you can binge through as well. So I think the first one is Our Vicious Bonds or something like that, but I could be wrong. I should have looked into it, but definitely check that out. She writes all kinds of genres. So
yeah, when I saw the romance, I said, oh, and this was last year. So I was just yesterday years old when I discovered this. But that is it for our book club. All right. Next month, let me see. Hold on. I forgot to get the graphic up, but I think I have it in the can somewhere if I can scroll and find it. Can I? Oh, yeah, here it is. Okay. Mark your calendars. All right. So next month, we are doing Rules for Ruin. Rules for Ruin, mark your calendars. This is a historical romance. Now, here's the good news. I've read this one and it is good. So I want us to read this one. I actually also read the second book as well. So I think we're going to have a good time. It's a good historical romance. So tune in next month. Mark your calendars. And while I have you here, let's just get our calendar up as well. Next week, we're going to get into our February wrap up. So we're going to share some of the books that we read this month and our thoughts and feelings. We might like it. We might not like it. So, definitely tune in for that. Then it's going to be the start of a brand new month. So we're going to get into the March TBR of it all. So we're going to tell you some of the books that we're very excited to read. And then we're going to share our book haul because, we're bookworms. And every month we seem to be accumulating books some way, somehow. So, these shelves didn't fill themselves by themselves. So we're going to do our book haul as well. Again, we go live every Thursday, 12 noon Eastern time if you're new here. So mark your calendars. Now, we're going to get into a bit of what we're watching. And I feel like I'm going to monopolize this portion of the chat because I have thoughts. Hold on. That's the calendar. We don't need the calendar anymore. We need this. Listen, I went to watch Wuthering Heights. I guess it was opening day, was it? Yeah, Thursday. Thursday night was opening. And I was nervous, but I wanted to go in neutral. I went to watch it with my husband, who's never read the book, knows nothing, except when we were there to watch other movies and I saw the trailer come up on screen, I said to him, it is not a romance. And I'd get tight. And he could tell, it's like what I said, they're marketing this thing like it's a romance. So the only thing he went in knowing is that I was cussing and fussing every time I would see a trailer or an ad that this is not a romance. That is it. So he rated it 2.5 stars. Let me start with that. He rated it 2.5 stars out of 5, which I thought was incredibly generous. I said, sir, but he's being fair. He never read the book. So he told me that was that, but he felt like there was a missing through line. He had questions it's like he felt like he was being told something. You know how when you watch stuff, just like when we read books and you watch a show, it's like your brain needs to be working too. No, your brain wasn't really working. It was just showing you things. There was no what ifs or no. Now, as a Bronte babe, my whole life, okay, I've loved the Brontes, all sisters. Now I'm thinking about it, I should do a video ranking how I feel about these books. This was horrendous. This was not Wuthering Heights. I have a video up on my channel sharing my next day review on the movie, but tomorrow I'm dropping a longer form video. Francesca was helping me from her house, virtually. I have a whole suspect wall. I can see it from the corner of my eye. I did the family tree. I have yarn. I have pictures. I have things. Okay. It's a whole vibe.
It looks great.
I sent her a picture on WhatsApp. So tomorrow that video is dropping Friday at noon. So stay tuned to that. I think I'm enjoying the discussions more and people realizing that, they never read the book. They don't know what is happening. So I like having those conversations, but this was horrendous. And people keep telling me in the comments, well, she has a title, as you all can see on the poster right there in parentheses. I said, like that means anything. Like that means anything. What is the other title then? Because see, when you have something in parentheses, because I hate when people go down these rabbit holes, because I'm like, okay, I like using examples. You have songs, like music, that people put out, and the song has an official name, but they'll put in parentheses like a hook or a couple words that's more catchy that people remember. That is when a parentheses, listen, this lady went to Oxford, okay? Emerald Fennell went to Oxford. I'm sure she knows the English language better than I do. I'm sure she knows Wuthering Heights better than I do. Well, actually, no. She probably hasn't reread it since school days. But the one thing that really bothers me is people justifying it, saying it's her interpretation. She can have her own interpretation 100%, but give it another name. That is a hill I'm going to die on. People are free to take with the classics and make it what they will, but give it another name. Call it the Moors or something, and then put your own twist on it. I think that really bugged me more than anything. It got rid of lots of pivotal characters, and then we just have Catherine and Heathcliff, and they just love each other, and it's just all about love. We don't get the house dynamics, the family tension, the brother butting heads with him, the other people over there, the Lintons calling him trash. We don't get the real reason why he does what he does. And then my husband is like, so wait, where did he get his money? My husband would say, like, where did he get his money from? He just appeared. Like, again, if you are watching the show and you don't know what is happening, see, I know because I read the book, but he's watching it for the first time. He's like, so how did he buy the house? Did he buy the house? Like, what is going on here? So it's like I had to explain all of that after the fact, because the movie doesn't take us on that journey. It barely takes us on any journey. It's just focusing on them twos. So anyway, I shared my thoughts in a video. Tomorrow already, I'm going to do the family tree. I also watched the 1939 version. Oh my gosh. Let me see if I can find that poster. That one was great. That is a true adaptation. Hold y'all. It's a live show. Okay. Don't come for me. It is a live show. Save image. Let me see. I should have this on my computer, but I know I'm not going to find it. But, that one was better. So I'm also going to talk about this image. Let's see. Where is it at? There we go. Yeah. So I'm also going to talk about this adaptation as well. So I actually watched this, and even though they turned this into a romance where I feel like this is a problem, however, it stayed faithful to the novel. So I'm going to give them a pass. Okay. I'm going to give them a pass, but I've been feeling salty all week. Because what did they do to just an iconic story? So if y'all want to watch the 1939 version, so we can cuss and fuss on my video, it is available on HBO Max. I personally watched it on HBO Max. I have HBO Max. And it's also on Amazon. 1939 version. I feel like this is where the whole romance started, though I felt it did it more in a respectful way at the end, and it didn't feel cliffhangery, and it actually gave them a happy ending-ish, which is very interesting, but I think it has to do with the time, because again, it's 1939, so they're not going to give us anything too crazy. But that's me bitching and moaning about Wuthering Heights. Yeah, those are the feelings. I have an open mind. I promise y'all, I have an open mind. It's just, give it another name. It's like Clueless, right? Clueless is like Emma. 10 Things I Hate About You is like The Taming of the Shrew. What's that other one again? I'm forgetting. There are just so many different modern takes on adaptations. We just give them different name because it's a modern interpretation. So if Emerald Fennell wanted to give us BDSM, dark romance, and vibes aesthetic, even though I felt some of the costumes were tacky, but it was pretty to look at, then do that. Lean into that and own it by putting your own movie name on it instead of the classic, because I felt like she was gaslighting me. But anyway.
Yeah, and actually a friend of mine that went to see it, she messaged me and she's like, "Are you gonna watch it?" And I'm like, "Well, I don't think," because you had already given me the whole
Oh yeah.
so I'm like, probably not. And she's like, "Well, this actually felt like Wuthering Heights fan fiction from a child,
No,
like
wait.
from a teenager, you know?"
There is better fan fiction out there. And I actually think I ended the video I posted last week with my immediate reaction saying there is better fan fiction out there. But yes, this felt like fan fiction, but with zero substance, because as a connoisseur of fan fiction, I feel like there's some amazing fan fiction out there that, I mean, they hold you, right? I think what this one did, what Wuthering Heights did, was it was telling us stuff instead of just showing us and let us interpret what we want to interpret. You know what I mean? It just, my brain wasn't working at all. But like I said, if people love it visually, I mean, listen, everybody's entitled to their own opinion. I just wish she gave the movie a different name. But if you want a faithful adaptation, go check out not that one, check out the 1939 version. Again, you can watch it now. It's on HBO Max. It's also on Amazon Prime. And it's there. And it's, listen, faithful from the opening and everything. Faithful. But I know you've been watching things. This is not Wuthering session.
Yeah, so I ended up watching, I am now almost 20 episodes into The Queen of Flow because I am still watching my telenovela. So it's season 3. The first 2 seasons had like maybe, I don't know, like 60, 80 episodes. So they're really long. Actually, no, yeah, 80 episodes. And then this one, which is season 3, has like 60. So I am about a third of the way in. And I have the same complaint that I had last week, which is there's this major thing that happens at the beginning of season 3 with one of our main characters. And it has now dragged for 20 episodes. And I feel like there's stuff that happens, but like nothing happens because we are recycling the same conflict and the same problem. And it's just a different day of the same conflict and the same problem. And I am getting tired of it because it's like either you could have made the season shorter because it's already shorter. Like it could have been 40 episodes then. And we don't have to go through this meandering day to day of repeating this storyline and just like a couple of different things, which pains me to say this because I love the first 2 seasons. Like I ate that up. And I was so excited when I saw that they were going to do a season 3 because I didn't even know that that was going to be a thing. I think it's actually been several years since they filmed the first 2 seasons. So I think the success of the show is what brought them back.
Right.
And my thoughts are, maybe it was like actress conflict and that's why they had to write it this way because like maybe she couldn't be part of. In that case, I would have much rather that they kill someone off and we move on to a different storyline in the series, even though I wouldn't have been happy. But I think that would have been better than this meandering thing, or make the season shorter and let's just get to the point. So I feel like I am just frustrated. So I am in annoyed land at the moment. I will continue because now I need to know what the hell happens. But I can tell you that I am not enjoying this as much as if I had so far, I will update you when I finish the season. But so far, if I had to say anything, I would say you can just watch the first 2 seasons and it ends with enough of a nice little bow that you don't have to watch season 3. But maybe it gets better. But it's already 20 episodes, so I'm just annoyed.
It sounds like we're both annoyed this week. I'm like still thinking about it, and because I have like the movie membership, like I'm like, do I need to go watch Wuthering Heights again? Like, am I a masochist? Like, what is? You know what it is? It's. I need to like, okay, clear eyes, mind. You know what I mean? So it's not like I'm financially, having to go back. No, I have a membership. I can watch unlimited movies. But it's just like, oof. And then now you with the Queen of Flow. I feel like it's just been a miss. You know what has been a win? Let's talk about a win, because I feel like we need to talk about a win. The Winter Olympics. Is anybody watching the Winter Olympics? I feel like the Winter Olympics is the win. Unfortunately, I got to get up early, y'all. So I can't be
watch the replays. Just watch the replays.
I know. But the thing is, I like it's become like a comfort thing. So it's like I go to bed, my husband and I, and we're in bed and like we'll watch like little bits of it. So it's become like a comfort thing. Yeah. But I've been enjoying it. It's a great distraction. I was also saying that, it's a great thing that post NFL season, we just rolled straight into the Olympics. So I'm like, okay, I have something else communal that we're all watching. I think that's actually what I miss from the 90s and the early 2000s is that we all were watching the same thing. So in a way, like it goes back to what I'm saying about like the Wuthering Heights of it all. I think I'm enjoying the conversation, the conversation that so many of us are having. Different points of view. I mean, because even some of the people who tell me they love the show, I'm like, okay, so tell me, what did you love? Like, am I the problem? Like, help me out here. So the Olympics has been great. I love seeing people who were on the struggle bus, meaning, they had injuries. Also people who are coming back in their 40s. Oh my God. I saw this. I think she's from China. Who is a figure skater, and her and her partner, like they got back together again and they were doing the thing. I was like, wow. And then I saw these people, I think they were from Japan. And long story short, they did the short program, which they were first of all, they were favored to medal. And he messed up like something with the lift, and then one component was missing. So they got really low marks. Like they were at the bottom-ish, not the bottom, but ish. So then they had to do the long program where you can come back from the long program, but easy points with the short program, bare minimum. Listen, they killed it and they got gold. And I was just like, listen, I wasn't sharing for none of y'all, but just like the story and I love a comeback. Listen, my husband says I'm a big problem because I'm cheering for everybody. I'm like, no, but that was great. Well, that was cool. So for me, it really isn't about country. It's just about, I get invested in the stories. I really, really, really do. And then when you see someone mess up so terribly and then they're able to kind of like come back around, I'm just like, okay, I'm loving this. I'm loving this.
There was also the winner of the male figure skater, which was from Kazakhstan. And it was actually really interesting to see that the favorite for the gold had a little bit of a struggle there last minute. So I think that there's also a lot of conversation around the pressures and the mental health and all
him,
how it really affects.
God. Yeah.
I felt so bad. But at the same time, what a wonderful moment for somebody that wouldn't have had an opportunity probably any other way. It's like somebody's misery can be someone else's like biggest moment of their career. There was also a story I loved with a skier that got gold from Brazil. And that was really nice, only because, I mean, can you imagine like what this guy had to do to train? There's no snow over there. Like that was something that he just said, this is something I want to do. And I'm going to do all the sacrifices that I need in order to get this. And he got gold, which was really exciting. So
listen, the running joke, like, okay, I'm Jamaican for you folks who are new here, but like Jamaica having a bobsled team, I even remember, I'm trying to remember what Olympics it was. They did well years ago. Anyways, the team is back, new team, obviously, but the team is back at this Olympics, and I am just loving the antics because they did an ad with, I think it's Fiat. And it was just so funny. And then Airbnb kind of sponsored them, obviously, lots of all the athletes providing accommodations and things. So like they were supposed to be doing a tour. So they're like at the front door and they're like, like we're the Jamaican bobsled team or whatever, welcome to the Airbnb. But the guy messed it up like BN, whatever he was on this. It was just pure comedy. And of course, all the other folks on the team all had a little chiming in. So I've been loving the side antics as well. And, the camaraderie with other team members and things. So this is a feel good. See.
Yeah.
After
This is
we
the
had,
feel good part.
yes. I'm so glad we're able to have like a feel good moment to kind of share with you all at the end, because I was like, my gosh, I am not a fan of the Wuthering Heights, but you know what? I'm a fan of the conversation. But a good thing for all of us to watch together as a community is watch the Olympics.
Mhm.
Watch the Olympics this weekend, catch some of the replays, hear some of the stories. I truly feel like this is something we can all watch together. It's feel good moments. Yes, you might see some people kind of crash out, unfortunately, but it's a good thing that we can all talk about. We can come back next week and share all the things. But I think that's it for today. I do want to again remind you all that we go live every Thursday, 12 noon Eastern time, especially if you're new here. So mark your calendars. Next week, we're going to do a wrap up. So we're going to be sharing, books that we've been reading, either loving or didn't care for during the month of February. But also stay tuned. The following week, we are going to share our March TBR. And then, of course, we're going to share our book haul. So, mark your calendars, 12 noon Eastern time every Thursday. And we're looking forward to seeing you in the next one. Bye.
Bye.